Welcome to the 4D Chess Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Hobbled. We're going to try this again. Today on the show, we talk about the bankers once again. I can prove to you that all current events going on in the news, from Trump's statements to Tulsi Gabbard's statements to the deep state's new British ambassador to the United States, to all the things, tie back to the bankers and how we did not win the American Revolution. I'm your host, Patrick Hobbled. We're going to talk about all the politics and all the tactics today on 4D Chess. Let's play today. That's right. Welcome back to the show. We are streaming live on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Give us a follow on X as well. I am at 4D_wizard. Just type in 4D Chess to the search bar and you will get it. My podcast people on Apple and Spotify, thank you for listening once again. Sorry we did not have a show this week. I was here. I was trying. What I don't understand is how people can do all of this prep work, the video, the clips, all the things. I have it all ready to go. Ready to go. And it's delayed once again. There we go. A little bit delayed. Give us a follow on X right there. You can see it that we're streaming live. I just don't understand how people can do this shit with kids. I have a day job that pays. I'm trying to make this into my career. I'm very, very frustrated. Very, very frustrated with the X community right now. Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, even Alex Jones, all of the people, every single one of them, except for Promethean Action. You're wondering who Promethean Action is? Promethean Action is right here. Every single influencer, except for them, has this right. How do you know? Well, I know because 2 + 2 is 4. Self-evident truth. I don't need somebody to tell me what's right and what's wrong. You just have to listen. You have to know a little bit of history. You have to know a little bit of history. You have to know a little bit. You have to critically think, and you have to look at patterns. And I know for a fact that I'm right. Why? They're right. It makes sense. It's perfect sense. It's all out in front of you. And I'm going to prove it to you today that the war that's going on in economics is the only war that's being fought. Everything else is just a bullshit distraction. You just have to listen. This is what I'm talking about. This is Tulsi Gabbard over the past weekend. Listen to what she says.
You think the campaign was hard. You think what President Trump went through was hard, and it was. The road ahead will not be easy. I can attest personally that in my work as the Director of National Intelligence, the deep state is fighting us every step of the way. And it exists within every single federal agency. And so I feel the same frustration that I see many of you expressing on X or in different platforms about why aren't things going faster? Why aren't we getting results more quickly? I feel this frustration every single day. We are pushing hard. Know that they are pushing hard back.
That's right. All you have to do is listen. Now, what are they pushing back for? Do you really think they just want to destroy America? Or do you think there's a motive behind it? Is there a motive behind it? Listen to Donald Trump right here. This is breaking news as of, he was on the phone, I guess, late last night.
One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it. And I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
It took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yep. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they'd been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me, but especially you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million. That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out.
Okay. He's claiming that it's all fake. Now, some of you might be saying, there's no way. It's not fake. There's a list. This is what I'm talking about. People don't critically think. Well, he doesn't respond to everything. He doesn't respond to you. He's busy fighting a war, fighting an economic war, the one where America thought we won in 1776, all the way up until 1783. We thought we had won this, right? But the bankers in the financial hub of planet Earth, known as London, they just smiled and kept the chains on our wallets. Sure, we got our military freedom, but economically, we're still paying tribute to the elites via the Rothschild-style central banking system known as the international banking cabal, and the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell are part of it. Jerome Powell is in the news, which means the deep state is nervous. They are very, very close to getting beat, and they know it. The only thing that makes me nervous is the fact that midterms are coming and the time factor. It's very hard. As Tulsi Gabbard said, it is very hard to just dismantle hundreds of years of power structures that have set up everything to protect them. Money is what we're doing. We're still trying to get free. We are debt slaves to London and the banks. And Thomas Jefferson warned us about this. Take a look. I'll show you the quote. Here it is right here. It says, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and the corporations will grow up around them. It will deprive the people of all of their property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power should be taken from banks and restored to the people, to whom it properly belongs. You can see this was a post. I said, I'll say it bluntly, we didn't fucking listen. This is the problem. This is the problem. I have a delay in my, there you go. Right? This is what he said. It hits like a hammer to the heart of every single thing I'm going to unpack on the show. Jefferson saw the danger of letting private banks run the show. They inflate, they deflate, and there's a process. They strip away the property from everyday people. It's happening right now, and it's tied to the British imperialist banking system. Benjamin Franklin also said, and perfectly nailed it, that the British bans on colonial currency created the poverty and lit the fuse for the revolution. But after winning, we slipped back, and Britain's loss was a head fake. They switched to money control, and the Rothschilds led the pack. By 1815, Nathan Rothschild gripped the Bank of England after funding Waterloo. He quoted, this is his quote, He who controls the money supply controls the empire. As I've covered in previous episodes, that spread us all the way up until Hamilton's banks, and then Andrew Jackson's battle against the banks. And then the Fed was made after they met on Jekyll Island. Guys, a loaf of bread, I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. You could, it doesn't apply. You don't buy bread. Oh, it's 1890. No, listen, history tells you everything you need to know. In 1890, a loaf of bread cost a dime. In 1910, a loaf of bread cost a dime. How come 30 years later, nothing went up in price? Not just bread, everything. Nothing went up in price 30 years later. I'm saying nothing, but for the most part, nothing. There was no inflation. Then the Federal Reserve was invented. Then the banking system was invented. And now everything goes up. Your grandfather's saying, I used to take my wife to the movies. I remember Grandpa Bob saying this. I used to take Loretta to the movies and it cost 25 cents for drinks and popcorn and tickets. 25 cents. 25 cents for drinks, popcorn, and a ticket. I took the children, my boys who are 9 and 12, I took them to see Jurassic World or Jurassic Park the other day. in the movie, the new one. It was terrible, by the way. But I took them $60 for tickets, $20-something for popcorn. We got one drink. We shared the drink. We shared the popcorn. Just out of principle, right? You get unlimited refills, and the soda machine. I mean, their sodas were like this big anyway. I was like, just pass that thing down. $80 versus 25 cents. The crime is right there. The crime is right there. This is who Trump's fighting. He's fighting that. That's what he's fighting. He's not fighting Epstein files. He's not fighting CIA. He's not fighting any of this. He's fighting the British imperialist system that requires war and uses inflation and steals your mortgage and all of the things, gets you debt trapped for life. This is what he's fighting. You fast forward to today. Oh, by the way, it says it in our Constitution. Article 1, Section 8 allows for debt-free money. We don't have it. It says it in the Constitution. We don't have it. This is the fight. Everybody needs to just stop what they're doing. There should be no talk on Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens about Israel. There should be no talk about any of this stuff. We only need to talk about one thing, and that is abolishing the Federal Reserve and then getting Article 1, Section 8, putting it on all media accounts, and then making our own currency. JFK, Executive Order 11110, Lincoln and the Greenbacks. All of the presidents that have ever come up with their own system to get away from this has been killed. Trump was almost killed for it anyway. There's a great article I have on the bankers. Go look at it. It's on my X account. It's under articles. Read it. Every single president has been they've tried to kill them or they've killed them in order to preserve the banking system. It's always the bankers. It's always the bankers. We talk about they. Candace Owens made a post. Nobody knows who they is. I know who fucking they are. You're the one who doesn't know who they are. Candace Owens. Love your show to death. You don't know you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. You think it's Israel and Netanyahu. No, that's just part of it. That's part of it. Go bigger. Go bigger, go home, people. Charlie Kirk's talking about release the Epstein files because the voters want. No, the stupid voters want that. The smart voters want you to talk about the bankers. And then we need to go back to Article 1, Section 8. It's in the fucking Constitution. It's right there. Right there. Everybody go read Article 1, Section 8. It is right fucking there. Why is nobody talking about that? We need to preserve the Constitution. It says it in the Constitution. Constitution. Article 1, Section 8. If you fast forward to today with Jeffrey Epstein, well, let's tie him to the banks. I'll prove it's the banks. He's not just a creep with blackmail rings. He's a financial enforcer to the British banking system. Just look at the banks who covered up for him. They laundered the money with him. Even Bannon missed this. I love Steve. That's probably the show that I listen to the most. It's 4 episodes a day. Charlie Kirk, even Tucker Carlson has not even mentioned the bankers. Nobody mentions the bankers. Is it because they'll debank you? You won't be able to use your money? Shut up. Do you care about America or not, Tucker Carlson? Do you care about America or not? You should be pushing the fight against the bankers. Everybody's terrified because they only do the shows for money. I do not have a corporate sponsorship. I have 2 yard signs and a TV from 2003 with a glare. I can't see the glare. I can't. I got that on Amazon for like $7. I don't have a sponsor. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you the truth. By no logical conclusion can you cannot draw a logical conclusion that I don't know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the people with the big shows that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know. They don't know. There's this guy named Lord Peter Mandelson. I was watching Promethean Action, and I learned about this guy named Lord Peter Mandelson, and I looked it up. He stayed at Epstein's New York private apartment, and now Mandelson is the British ambassador to the United States as of this week. He's tied to the old Tony Blair, right? Epstein's gig was not only using cash and connections to keep the empire's grip solid. Empires have always blended financial tricks and scandals. You got me? Scandals, financial tricks. Blended. This is the tactic. This is the tactic, right? They create economic dependency while scandals weaken the resistance. What do you think it's doing to the right? Everybody's fighting. Everybody on the right's fighting. Candace Owens regrets voting for him. Dave Smith contributes absolutely fucking nothing. Rome did the same thing. They loaned money to provinces at insane rates. Then they used the dirt on officials to enforce collection and crush the rebellion. Epstein is a modern day version of that. This history always repeats itself. How do you know you're right, Hobbled? Because you just look at history and the patterns, and then you spot the patterns today. You look at the evil people in history, and you look at the evil people today, and they do the same thing, and this is how you know they're doing it. It's not by accident that they're doing it. You're not going to say it's just random. No, it's not random. It's happening. Unbelievable. Epstein headed something called the Liquid Funded Limited, which pioneered mortgage-backed securities and derivatives, and was owned by a guy named Bear Stearns. That sparked the 2008 crash that crushed millions while the elites profited then too. Man, emails link Mandelson and Epstein on Federal Reserve policy in 2008. 2008. Epstein was involved in Federal Reserve policy in 2008. I'll just wait for somebody to counter this. And the Dodd-Frank debates. It is, in my opinion, and Promethean Action's opinion, that Epstein was British intel. He was the pawn. He uses cash. He uses connections. He gets the dirt to grip the United States, right? In Epstein's files, that's just a distraction to loosen the resistance, to break us apart. The problem is we're already apart. We were never together because everybody's just grifting for their fucking sponsors. Putin said this. Camera change. Thank you.
До сих пор кому-то не имется есть еще люди,
There are still people who want to go back to the times of Napoleon, forgetting.
До сих пор кому-то не имется
What does he mean by that? There are still people that want to go back to the time. Actually, at this press conference, Macron is talking about France. He's talking about France and Britain. He blamed Britain and France for resenting Russia over colonial empire falls post-World War II. That's not the best clip, but it's the best one. We don't get the best Putin news over here. Right? That grudge, fueling negativity today. He is spot on, though. It echoes Franklin Roosevelt's, FDR's, post-war vision for freedom. It was wrecked when Harry Truman backed the British geopolitics, right? And Putin slams right there, and he goes on, I couldn't find the full clip, post-Soviet lies to Russia. That's why he's pissed. It stresses sovereignty as a defense. That's what he's suggesting. Putin is suggesting sovereignty, national sovereignty as a defense. This also frames Trump's Ukraine strategy perfectly, right? Trump is not a pushover. He's tactical. Everything he does is tactics. You listen to this show, you understand this. This week he unveiled, you remember he was with Hegseth and with Rubio, and it was giving money to the Ukraine, right? He unveiled an aggressive weapons package for Ukraine, including offensive gear, with a 50-day ceasefire deadline for Putin. That's what he said. He threatened 100% tariffs on Putin if there was no deal. What does this do? It shifts the cost, money, of war to who? To the Europeans. This is a big deal. It's not about the war. It's not about peace in Ukraine, Russia. It's not about that. It's always about the money. It's about the money. Money trees. It's always about the money. That was actually the wrong one. I meant this one. See what I mean? Always about the money. Trump's play is to respect Russia's sovereignty, stop the bloodshed, and burden our allies, which are running on the British imperialist system. How do they counter this? They counter it with threats. They leak stuff to the media. They try to say that Russia is fighting with the U.S. They use NATO and drag us deeper in. They got midterms ahead. Republicans are going to tout Trump as the peacemaker. He ends wars. He saves lives to this endless deep state war machine, the British war machine. And the Democrats are going to rally on defend democracy and pro-war, and he has to do this and he has to do that. That's where we are. He's trying to stop the endless wars, and they're trying to push for endless war. He's also, okay, give you weapons, but you better pay for them yourself. They don't want to do that. Typically, what they do is we pay for them, and they just benefit from the countries in war and all the things. This is where it gets crazy, is that the left-wing propaganda slides right into the British imperialist toolkit. They basically, the BBC pioneered the modern vision to divide and conquer, right? And they used media to shape the minds. The BBC started in 1992 as a state-funded broadcaster and was designed to spread empire narratives worldwide. The BBC is the one pushing 90% of the shit that you hear anyway, to influence public opinion with trusted news that pushes British interest and this system. That's why you can always find pro-war shit on the BBC. Always. Just watch it. Watch it for a day. Watch it for a few days. Count how many stories are pro-war. Count how many stories that Trump is bad for doing this to stop the war. Well, just watch. Just watch it. They always show everything about this needs to happen. We need to go in here. We need to start this war to take over. Right? Israel's bombing Syria at the moment. If you go watch BBC, it'll be a pro-bomb Syria campaign. This is what they do. I'm not even going to have an episode. I'm not even going to talk about Israel and being part of the MI6 and Mossad and all that. It gets deep. It gets real deep. I'm just trying to keep it simple for you. All right. That model, the BBC model, inspired the U.S. public broadcasting system, NPR and PBS, which often lean left, actually 90% lean left, 99% lean left, echoing progressive lines to distract from real issues like banking control. Take Chuck Schumer earlier today. Here he is right here. Listen to what he says. Camera change, play.
And these cuts to local stations couldn't happen at a worse time, with floods and natural disasters front of mind. When a flood happens, when a tornado touches down, when a hurricane makes landfall, people need immediate, up-to-date alerts to stay safe. And sometimes, all too often, public broadcasting is the only way for people to hear what's going on. It's a matter of life and death.
Life and death. Okay, Chuck Schumer. Based on probability alone, if Chuck Schumer is saying it, you can survive politically and physically if you just ignore what Chuck Schumer ever says. When has this guy been right? This is about as easy as it goes. If Chuck Schumer says it, it's just not true. You can bet on that. I'm not saying everything. I mean, I guess I am saying that. If Chuck Schumer says it or Elizabeth Warren says it, it is absolutely opposite of what is happening. It is all projection. He is saying people are going to die because it's been defunded. That means it's corrupt as fuck, people. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you here. The pattern is obvious. Okay? The frame cuts as deadly it's trying to rally his base and preserve this media arm of the BBC. He is. He's trying to put this so that they can still push that division. Their grip on the narrative game, even though Trump is technically losing the narrative battle at the moment, he's winning the narrative war, but he's losing the narrative battle because this week, everybody's off on the narrative. He didn't get out a clear message. If you listen to this show consistently, we have 3 games that are always played. We have the narrative game, we have the political game, and we have the resource game. The political game is also the power game. They're losing in the narrative game right now. Trump is not winning in that. He's breaking up his base. It's getting pissy. Everybody's frustrated. No clear message is out there. If I'm the only one and Promethean Action are the only ones talking about this is a bigger war, right? The influencers aren't even talking about this. There's nobody talking about this. Bannon's not talking about it. Charlie Kirk's not talking about it. Candace Owens not talking about it. They're all stuck on different stories. It's all wrong. They're all wrong. Whose fault is that? That's the Trump administration's fault. Let's give credit where credit is due. But it's not due today. He needs to come out and say, we're fighting that. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Don't give away your plan until you've done it. Keep it a secret. It's crazy to me that we can't get this messaging right, and that everybody goes back. Well, I want them now. I want the Epstein files right now. I want justice. No, shut up. Shut up. It's been since the 80s anyway. We're talking Clinton, for God's sakes. Let the man suffer and be nervous a little longer. Yes, the victims who were children are now older women. You'll get your justice. Just give it a minute. We've got to go after the economic part first, because Trump's job is up in 3.5 years, and it's going to take every fucking day to get to that point. Every day. Other tactics they're using to stall. This was today in Congress.
Why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it.
It doesn't even matter what he's saying. Do you see this right here? All these people? That's performative theater. Let's walk out. Let's protest. Why? Because then you have to reschedule this meeting, a month later, and everything just gets delayed. Whatever it is. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Talking about rules, procedures. What? They nobody cares about the rules? These are the Democrats. They break the rules. That's what they do. Grassley is an old, grouchy man who always follows the rules. Don't tell me Cory Booker is a... They're breaking... They're delaying. That's what they're doing. It's the only thing. This is what they do. These are deep state tricks, right? Trump is even calling it a hoax. But nobody's going to believe it because nobody critically thinks anymore, right? There are grand conspiracies. Check this out. This is very important. This is John Solomon from Just the News. Listen to what he says here.
The theme of tonight's show is accountability, and we are starting to get some recently. Our new reporting up at justthenews.com says that the FBI has opened what they are calling a grand conspiracy probe on the weaponization of government and the Department of Justice, dealing with everything from the Russian collusion hoax back in 2016 right up to Jack Smith's antics nearly a decade later. It will be investigated as a possible ongoing criminal conspiracy. A lot of things happen with that. Now, the investigation was opened several weeks ago by FBI Director Kash Patel, and now it might get a big-time boost from President Trump. They need him to declassify tranches of evidence that could signal how the 2016 Russia collusion conspiracy started. We're going to try to see if we can get President Trump on the show tomorrow night. We'll keep you posted on it. Now, remember Hillary Clinton's classified email server? That's what the first piece of evidence is related to, a classified annex to the Inspector General's probe of the Clinton email server. Now, apparently, that annex is said to show some wrongdoing was done, but it was ignored by the FBI. They didn't look at it. We'll have a guest on later in the show that can help us understand what that's all about.
Okay. Let me just paraphrase. It gets a little in the weeds. If your family member was killed by Al Capone, would you be screaming, get him on murder? Or would you be screaming, just get him? You want justice, right? If Al Capone killed your family member and the justice system came to you and said, I would like to arrest him on tax evasion, not murder, because I can't get him on murder. I can only get him on tax evasion, but that still puts him in jail for life. Would you do that? Would you agree to this as a victim? This is what I don't understand. Charlie Kirk and all the people, all these big name influencers, they're missing the big picture, the big play, right? If Trump goes back in time and opens this up as a grand conspiracy case, he can now try people like Obama and Clinton and all the people that went to the fucking island and did the nasty things with the kids. Yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to prove. There is no list. It's not like, just think how this goes. Watch this. We're going to write a name on a piece of paper. We're going to write Bill Clinton. Release the list. Release the list. And Bill Clinton's on it. What do you think happens next? What do you think happens next? Like, for real. Do you think you just walk up to Bill Clinton's address and you knock on the door and say, oh, you're going to jail? Former presidents? Right? No. You have to have a case. You have to have a solid case. You have to be able to prove, right? Because these are some of the richest, most powerful people on the planet. And they're just going to sue you for days, also delaying and delaying and delaying and delaying and delaying. And then once Trump gets out of office, the next president comes in, and God forbid, it's not Vance or some other Democrat, and they're just going to pick their own attorney general, and they're going to drop all the cases. Why? Because you wanted them now. You can't release the stuff now. And yes, it actually goes even further than that, because you don't want to get sued for defamation if you're the government. What if you release this list and you can't prove it, and then he turns around and sues you for defamation? Now you look like a moron. So you go after other things to get the people. You know who's on the list. You know who did it. Most of it's under seal in the Southern District of New York. They just fired Comey's daughter, by the way. Thank God. She was the prosecutor for Ghislaine Maxwell and for Diddy, and none of this stuff got pushed. And she needs to be fired. Sorry, your father got you fired. But the FBI is probing a decade. It's a 10-year plus of crimes in Democrat deep state tactics. All the way from, like he said, from Russia, all the way up to Jack Smith and the special prosecutor that was going after him for the lawfare, and the criminal conspiracy and election fraud. Listen, tax evasion for Al Capone will be the equivalent of election interference for Obama. If Obama was on the island and did nasty things to kids, if Bill Clinton was on the island and did nasty things to kids, yes, go after him for election interference. With the easiest, go after the one that gets them guaranteed. And they're building the cases. It takes time. You got to let it go. We're not even fighting them. You're fighting the British imperialist system. You're fighting the old system. The system that came into power in the early 1900s and used all the world wars to get their power and maintain their power. And now Trump is trying to take it back economically, and you're screaming about Israel, Candace Owens. You goddamn idiots. Sorry, fired up today with the language. My bad. Which brings me to the next tactic. It's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. Listen to what Trump says about the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell.
Step down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should.
He can't fire him. This is like the only guy he can't fire, because the Federal Reserve in 1913 built a deal with the government that says they would fund the government, not your taxes. Once again, the biggest crimes right in front of your face. You think all of that money they take out of your income? You think all of the money you pay, the money that's taxed on top of tax on top of tax with the sales tax and everything else, all of that, you think that funds the government? God, fucking progressives are idiotic. Berto, you know who I'm talking about. Trying to tell me, oh, you want higher taxes. What, to give your money to the government? They don't even use it. The Federal Reserve funds the government. They just inflate your money and steal it. Everybody should be on this page. Every single person should be rooting for Trump. This is why I don't understand. Every single person who wants to live a happy, decent life that doesn't affect anybody. All of the people that are like, I hate politics because I just want to live my life. No government. I don't like big government. All the libertarians. This is the craziest thing of all time. Why are the libertarians against anything Trump is doing? He's trying to abolish the Federal Reserve. But you can't do it today. You've got to build all this stuff and get it all together. He is literally trying to dismantle the old British imperialist system. Everybody should be rooting for him. I don't even care what you think about immigration. That's the distraction. Just close the border and watch the economic battle. Just watch him do his thing. Let the man cook.
Jerome Powell's been very bad for our country. We should have the lowest interest rate on earth, and we don't. He just refuses to do it, and yet...
Because he's being told what to do. Centralized banking system. The World Economic Forum, the World Monetary Fund, the World Bank, all of the big financial London. The city of London is like, Jerome Powell, you better not lower those rates. that'll help their economy out. They're trying to ruin Trump's economy. He knows too much. Trump is too good at business. He's too good.
He's spending $2.5 billion rebuilding the Fed, the Federal Reserve building. And I don't know what he knows about building, but you talk about cost overrun. So he got this approved, and he started the work during the Biden administration. And he doesn't look like the kind of a guy, frankly, that wants to spend $2.5 billion.
And so he's under corruption charges as well, because he spent billions of dollars to remodel a building. Billions to remodel a building? It's probably all marble and granite still. At the same time, what the fudge? Right? Trump can't fire him, but he floated that out there. He's playing the narrative game here, and he's winning because everybody's frustrated with Jerome Powell. Right? He's starting to see it. The lawmakers, they love it. They love the idea, but you can't do it. Right? It still puts pressure on the Federal Reserve, who is supposedly apolitical. Scott Bessent, Peter Navarro, and Russell Vought slammed Powell's high rates, tariff derangement syndrome, as they call it, $2.5 billion to remodel the building. Also, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the housing authority, came out and said, we are happy that this is going to happen and he's going to resign. They urged him to resign because nobody's buying homes. You can't. This is why they're trying to build as many apartment complexes and get you into these things as possible, make you renters, right? A cooperative Fed chair would turbocharge the economy. It's already moving at an insane rate. Gas prices are falling. Inflation is hardly non-existent. And despite the sabotage, you still get a manufacturing and energy boom with drill baby drill and all of the investments that are coming back. Dude, Trump is on fire with this stuff, which is why he's frustrated, because nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. What they're talking about is Epstein. And of course he's frustrated. You shouldn't be talking about Epstein either. You should be pissed that the Federal Reserve has inflation more than 4% typically each year and that they're stealing your money. That's why you should be pissed. The biggest scam in the history of the world is sitting right in front of you. A loaf of bread in 1890 was 10 cents. 30 years later, it was 10 cents. Then the Federal Reserve comes along and everything gets more expensive every time. Why? Because they're stealing your fucking money. Westinghouse's 10 nuclear facilities by 2030, 15,000 jobs in Southwest Pennsylvania. Scott Bessent has said the Rust Belt is gone, so they're going to build it back with trading jobs, union partnerships. They're going to builder, producer, and worker alliances are going to revive the American system. Tariffs are going to shield the industries, and Trump's boom, jobs for us and not the elites. Of course they're fighting it. Democrats are just going to scream it's a corporate giveaway. And the green regulations bullshit and all the things. Republicans are going to link the tariffs to guard the trade and the do jobs and all the things. Check this out. His backbone of all of this is the jobs. Listen to Mike Rowe. This is the other day. Listen to what he says. This is from Aspen.
We've been telling kids for 15 years to code. Learn to code, we said. Yeah, well, AI is coming for the coders. They're not coming for the welders. They're not coming for the plumbers. They're not coming for the steam fitters or the pipe fitters or the HVAC. They're not coming for the electricians. You know, that Ideas Festival I was telling you about in Aspen, I sat there and listened to Larry Fink say we need 500,000 electricians in the next couple of years. Not hyperbole. This is me being the alarmist again. There's not a week that goes by in my humble little foundation. It's called MicroWorks. Shameless plug.
Nice.
We award work ethic scholarships every year, right, to kids who want to learn a skill that's in demand. These are trade schools.
God, he's got a great voice too. Sorry. I just see him on Deadliest Catch and Dirty Jobs. Like, it's great. That guy, he should be on TV doing every show.
Scholarships. Not a week goes by where I don't get a phone call from somebody like the Blue Forge Alliance.
Listen to this, the Blue Forge Alliance. Trump is building these alliances throughout the Rust Belt, throughout the Midwest, throughout everywhere around the United States. Companies are coming back and they're building. And he's building these alliances that he's talking about right here. This is like deep state, what do you call it? Lemon juice on a cut. I mean, Trump is just rubbing it in, rubbing it in. And the deep state fucking hates it. And Jerome Powell is keeping the interest rates high to counter what is about to happen. Everybody knows it's about to happen. Everybody can see it's about to happen. This is why I don't understand how people are just so anti-Trump. Dude, this guy is about to explode this country. It is the golden age. It's not hyperbole. It is not hyperbole. It's literally bubbling at the surface and about to explode. And Jerome Powell holding the interest rates high is like deliberately holding back this explosion.
Sees our maritime industrial base. That's 15,000 individual companies who are collectively charged with building and delivering 3 nuclear-powered subs to the Navy every year for 10 years. Right? 2 Virginia, 1 Columbia class. Mind-bogglingly complicated.
That's D.C.
This
in the
guy
military.
calls and says, we're having a hell of a time finding tradespeople. Can you help? I said, I don't know, man. It's pretty skinny out there. How many do you need? He says 140,000. 140,000. Now, granted, over 7 years, but they need 80, 90,000 right now. These are our submarines, folks, right?
That's just submarines. The Blue Forge Alliance wants 140,000 trade jobs for nuclear submarine mechanics. That's key for China, right? If they flare up, the carriers are vulnerable. The automotive industry needs 80,000 collision repair techs. Energy, 300 to 500,000 new nuclear tradesmen to build this stuff. Mike Rose spoke to 6 governors, if I let that clip keep going. 6 governors and major CEOs in several months. Larry Fink even said, I need 300 or 400,000 electricians. Are you effing kidding me? That's what Trump is trying to put into America. Trump revives trade and builds America. That's the Republican strategy. The Democrats are going to push AI is killing jobs and all of this AI stuff. They want all education investment, right? The tariffs are going to protect the trade. This is factual information. Jerome Powell knows it. The deep state knows it. They're trying to hold them back, and they're trying to stall it for 3.5 more years so that they can just screw us all over there. This circles all the way back. All the way back. Here's another one. Circles all the way back to Jefferson and how he's going, if you let the banks control it, they're going to deprive you of your property. Here is the current leading Democrat candidate mayor for New York City. Listen to what he says.
My platform is that every single person should have housing. And I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about what
he wants to take away your property. He wants everybody to have housing. Did you understand? He wants to remove your private property, as Jefferson stated. The banks will deprive you of private property. This benefits the British imperialist system. They profit more from endless rent streams than one-time mortgages. Think about it. If I buy this house and I pay off this house, then give it to my kids, they're not making money on my kids. They want everybody renting. History shows this. In feudal England, the lords kept the peasants as renters, same fucking system, extracting ongoing tribute without ownership. And today, banks like BlackRock scoop up the homes post the crash or post-war. They buy all the land, they turn all the owners into renters, and they collect steady cash while property values rise for them. This is exactly why they want lower property values in blue states. Mortgages make money, but rentals are pure revenue, reoccurring revenue. No payoff, no equity, all for them. That's it. Deep state tactic? I think so. And they're going to use propaganda to make it sound fair. That's exactly what this guy is doing. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Last clip.
At some point, the basic economics really matter. And they matter because, not that it's bad that rich people are getting richer, it's bad that everyone else is getting poorer. And it's especially bad that young people can't afford homes.
This is by design. This is what Trump is fighting. This is what Trump is fighting. How many times do I got to say it? Candace Owens, are you listening? Charlie Kirk, are you listening? Steve Bannon, are you listening? This is the only thing that matters. It's always about the money. Always. Everything's about the money. The reason you won't even talk about this stuff is because of your sponsors on your shows. It's always about the money. I have no sponsors. I'm telling you what's happening. I know I'm right. It's very simple, self-evident truths. 2 + 2 is 4. Yet all of the big influencers are trying to tell you it's 5 and 6 and 7. Even Glenn Beck, who's struggling because he's playing promos to leave him reviews. You can tell when they're struggling. You can tell. They just need their money. They have employees. They want to pay them. So they have to talk about the crazy shit. I don't have all that. I'm just telling you the truth.
Let me just put a very precise point on this. If you want a measure of how your economy is doing, I personally favor eliminating GDP as a measure. I don't even know what that is. It's clearly not relevant. They tell me Japan has a stagnant GDP. Have you been to Tokyo? It's the single most radicalizing experience you'll ever have because it's just so nice. You lost the war? Really? Can we lose a war and wind up like this? GDP. No.
That explains everything. How are you going to win a war and end up like this? Well, because you never won the war. Because the British imperialist system still owns you. As Thomas Jefferson said about the banks and the currency. We're still letting the Federal Reserve rule us. We are all debt slaves. Period. End of story. End of story. This shit is actually going on, people. It's actually going on. Play a couple other clips for you. We'll save all that for tomorrow. There's some crazy stuff going on out there. But I'm telling you, the bankers' economic war, from unfinished revolution to Epstein's finance hooks, Putin's grudge callouts, Trump's Ukraine Fed economic plays, it's all part of the deep state economic battle that's going on right now. Tulsi Gabbard said it. All you have to do is listen. Republicans are going to hammer this as a break-free grand conspiracy probe. That's what we're going after because they know it. And try to exploit all this by midterms. Because if we lose the House or the Senate, then we're really up a creek without a paddle because we can't get anything done. Right? You think delays are bad now. That's delays with a unified government. Wait till it's divided government. Democrats are going to counter with scandals of their own, threats to democracy. They're going to try to rally by the midterms. Republicans are going to push accountability. Democrats, they have fear, and they're going to try to fortify their base using like immigration and some other stupid little tactics. That's what's going on right now. Give us a follow on X. Right there. Where's it at? You can see it. Give us a follow on YouTube, Rumble as well. I'm your host, Patrick Hobble. Thanks for joining me today. We'll have another show for you tomorrow because all my kids are out of town until next week. So we got nothing but politics. Love you guys. Thanks for joining in. Have a wonderful, what day is it? Wednesday? Have a wonderful Wednesday. See you later.